Yeah. So yeah, I'm into product for almost now 10 years. Been into, I will say, B2C, B2B world, both genres. Started my role with Fantastic, which is into health and fitness, and now I'm helping the companies to build the logistic parts of the software, helping the cars to be delivered. So that's about me, and definitely have a great interest in building anything and everything with my child. So that is also one thing from where I'm learning a lot about product, taking care of every user. And yeah, that's about me. So excited to be here.
Thank you for sharing a little bit about yourself with us. And I can't wait to get to know you better through the answers that you will share
Definitely.
with
That's
us
it.
today. So thank you very much, Gaurav. Again, we're going to see you in just a few because now it's time for the third panelist.
Also live from New York, it's Ashley De Gianelli, Senior Product Manager at Meetup.com and Product League Mentor.
For the third time, if I'm not mistaken. Is that your third role with us? Yeah, it's a third time product league mentors. Guys, please respect. Give her some respect in the audience. This is a big deal. So thank you very much for that, Ashley. Super excited to have you here with us, a mentor, a product league mentor, and also a product manager, a senior product manager that is going to share from your experience. So, how about you will share some of your experience with us? Tell us a little bit about your experience.
Sure. So I was lucky enough to fall into product pretty early on in my career, and I've worked at Weight Watchers and General Assembly in the past. And alongside being a product manager, which is a dream job, I am also a caregiver to my husband and a dog mom.
Which is amazing. And it somehow I don't know why, but it fits the persona, right? Like this person who is like caring and mentoring and giving back. So it's just amazing. So thank you very much, Ashley, for that. And it's a pleasure to have you on our floor. And now I think it's time to bring your colleagues, Gaurav and us, to join us on stage. Hello, hello. I hope that you're as excited as I am about this session, guys. So, how is it going to work? We received so many brilliant questions from everyone who RSVP'd to this event. Now, from those questions, we chose the questions that were repetitive. Okay, so our assumption was that obviously it caters to many of the people in the audience. We also chose some questions that we thought that are super interesting, things that are so meaningful for building career in product management the right way and searching for senior product management roles the right way. We collected all these questions. We got them ready, but we don't stop there because we also want the audience to submit their questions in the chat right now. So, guys, wherever it is that you watch us, LinkedIn, Facebook, Meta, pardon, and YouTube, just use the chat to comment with your questions. Again, let us know who you are, where you're from, because it helps us to support you and give you the most valuable answers. When you do that, we want to hear from you. We want to know what is on your mind and heart when it comes to searching for senior product management roles. And these fantastic three product league mentors are here to give you all the answers. So, call to actions as product managers do. First, please comment with your question whenever it prompts to your head because we want to support you in the best way we can. But also, like this video and share it with your colleagues and subscribe to our channel because this way you will know when we have more interesting and valuable sessions just like that. Now, guys, Ashley, Gaurav, and us, what do you say? Are we ready to have the first question and to start our session?
Let's go.
Definitely.
Let's
Do
do
it.
it.
Fantastic. And I'm so happy to have you guys here with us. So the first question, it comes from Tristan, and she's asking, what additional responsibilities does a senior product manager have in comparison, okay, to a product manager? Now, what do you say? What is your answer about that?
I mean, I think it's it's more strategy. You're more involved in planning. So not just the day-to-day work of your team and making sure you're executing against it, but also having a point of view on what the vision is for your product and what the future should hold. I think it's really the first time you get a glimpse into working with, more senior members of your product organization and the organization generally to discuss what the vision and mission is.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Ashley, for your answer. And this question from Trisna, who is a product league mentee, by the way, it's so important that we want to hear from everyone. So, Gaurav and us, what do you have to add?
So I'll say that just by thinking that there is a senior product and a product, that means that there are either multiple products or it's a bigger organization. And so I would expect someone that takes the senior product role to be more involved in planning, not just the specific feature that they're working on, but maybe take over a sprint or several sprints or a whole area of the product. So really definitely being out there in being more future looking, as well as going outside the org to start talking about their product more, showing up in front of other stakeholders, as Ashley was mentioning, but really looking at a bigger preview and also showing that you actually have a say about that bigger picture.
Yeah, and we're actually going to touch a little bit about that in other questions that we're going to answer. The fact that you have to demonstrate these skills. It's not just about you having more authority. It's also about the way that you present
Absolutely.
and demonstrate it. So this was brilliant. Thank you very much, us. And Gaurav, last but not least.
Yeah, sure. So I think all the good points are already added, but if I have to add anything, I will definitely say that strategy, because I totally agree with Ashley here, that the strategy is first time you start your hands on. I will say that the longer you think, the more you think of how things are going to stay, not only for adding a feature, but also on how it is going to impact on your company goal, vision, and how it is going to support the product even after 2 years, 3 years. In the long run, that is definitely going to make you better, not as just the better product manager, but also, like you said, you have to demonstrate those skills. And I will also say that in addition to that, I think you have to have a smart eye on, because you are going to be responsible to recruit people. So you have to kind of turn into that role as well at some point of time. Uh, and also definitely something which you are already doing as a product manager, but I think you're going to be more responsible for stakeholder communication, all the collaboration to make sure that everyone is aligned and they all have a common goal towards what you are working, and not just in silos, for example. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much, Gaurav. And Ashley, we are back with you because we have another question to ask you. It comes from Lisa, and she's asking, in order to be considered for a senior product manager position, what knowledge or skills are required, and how can I know when I'm ready? This is such a touching and beautiful, beautiful question.
Yeah, this is a great question, and certainly one I think every PM asks themselves. I think to me the biggest difference isn't necessarily hard skills; it's more the soft skills. It's more communication, the ability to influence decision makers within the organization, especially around your product, and being able to step back from the day to day and be able to see a strategy and vision. And to Gaurav's point just a moment ago, right? Like being able to talk about not just what is this product going to do this year, but what does it look like 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and how does it sustain the business? I'd also say that that you're ready when you've started to do these things. So a guideline that I was given early in my career of product leaders I admire and respect was you should be doing about 50% of the role above you before you're ready for promotion. And the reason for that is so that you're successful when that promotion comes. And so I would say the best way to know that you're ready is open, clear communication with your manager and talking about what it is that you need to get to your goal.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. And I completely agree with you. I think that so many product managers in the audience can resonate with this question. So thank you for bringing your answer to it. You know what? Just because this is such a meaningful one, us and Gaurav, I wonder if you have anything to add here about how to feel when you're ready. Like, when is it when you're ready to have a senior product management role?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
really taking a senior product role should never be your first one. I do see a lot of non-product managers apply for their first job as senior product managers. And I will say that some organizations or early startups will need to compromise because they're not big enough or exciting enough, and they will take people without experience. And that is wrong for you as an individual to join as someone that is senior. It is harder there to grow from there to grow. It's harder if you didn't have a mentor. It's harder if you didn't have someone to look up to consult with, as Ashley was mentioning. Like, it is harder. So just when you take something that is more senior, make sure that you did it as a junior. And then once you do that, really, I love the fact that, always do a little bit more than what you do, so that people not only that you need to apply, but actually people root for you and tell you, hey, how about we promote you to a senior position? I think getting a job is the best way to get a job is not to look for one. So yeah.
Absolutely, yes. This is when you know when you do good, right? When you do well on the job, and it just comes to you. But still, if it's not, we're here to help the audience to reach that point. Thank you very much, Oz. Gora?
yeah. I will just say that definitely all the good points of what I wanted to add is that if there are chances, then do make sure that you are already showcasing the responsibilities which the senior has to show it before even you say that you are already a senior, because then it is going to definitely help you to learn the game and have your also skin in the game part, and that is definitely going to make you ready for the whole battle. So yeah, just to add as a couple of points.
Completely agree. Thank you very much, Gaurav. And we are staying with you. And we have a very juicy question coming up. A very juicy one. Okay. It comes from Shoham and is asking, for a product manager to be considered senior, how many years of experience is required? I can imagine so many people asking themselves this question right now in the audience, like trying to figure out kind of like an equation of when you are ready. So I don't know, maybe you can shed some light on that. What is the number? Like, what is the equation here?
Yeah, I will say that in my opinion, there is no number for this. It is more like we already discussed. When you are ready, you are ready. It all depends on how skillful you are, how knowledgeable you are, how fast you are learning your specific industry knowledge, how much you are talking with your stakeholder customers, making all those data analysis. And if you are able to prove there is no mathematical formula that after crossing a certain experience level, you will definitely become a senior. So I think crossing that title level is not mandatory here or is not important, but I think justifying the role is more important. And that's why I will say that yes, some industries have something like, I mean, it's not industries, but companies have like 3 years, 4 years, then we can promote you to being a senior. But I think it should not be falling into that level. It should be more like, am I going to justify for what is expected out of me at this stage? Whether I am even just 2 years experience or whether I'm 6 years experience, there should not be a specific formula or 4 years, 5 years. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's about actually delivering value, guys. Everything in life is like in product management, right? The way we measure things is by how much value we bring to the table. Thank you very much,
exactly.
Gaurav. Yeah, for that, thank you very much. And also, we have another question that goes to you. It comes from Emma, and it's actually a very related one. Okay, because she is asking, on the contrary side, is it ever too early to search for a senior product management position? What do you say?
It's too early if it's your first one. Other than that, I don't think so. Other than that, I think, if you get promoted within the organization, then you need to show up. Hopefully you're lucky to have a manager that identifies the talent and your experience and your willingness to grow with the organization. And then you should get it or ask for it. And if you're applying for something, just make sure that you have a little bit of experience, because one day you'll manage people and you need to be credible in your growth. And you will also need to provide answers to employees asking you to be promoted a little bit ahead of time or a little too late. And you need to be there in order to do it well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just want to mention one thing to add, like, on what you said, that I think that it's almost never too early. Okay. However, if you're planning on doing that, you should be aware of the emotional aspect of saying no, of like hearing no, no, no. Like, if you're okay with everyone just declining your applications, and then you get to understand it is indeed too early in your career, go ahead and do that. Like, no harm, no one will remember it whenever you are going to try and reapply to that company. On the contrary, maybe it would be nice to them to know that you keep in touch with them, and ask to reapply again. However, if you are not ready to hear that you don't have enough experience, or you're not the right person for the job, well, it may be too early. And then I think it goes back to the other skills and things that you mentioned, us, as how you know that you are ready, when you have this emotional soft skills of dealing with situation, managing others, and show empathy. And I think a part of that is knowing how to deal with no a negative reaction. But everyone in the audience, this is a part of the game, right, us?
Yeah, so I love the call out to preserve energies. And I think, when you apply for a job and you get declines, then if you're able to brush it off very quickly, then apply. But if not, then preserve energy and apply to something that will always be challenging for you. Like, no one expects you to tick off all the boxes, because then it's boring and you'll probably leave them very quickly. But, try and do it like a 70-80% of that list to make sure that you check off. So it is experience, you have enough experience, but on the other hand, it is challenging enough, and love the call out for that energy preservation.
Thank you very much, us, for everything that you just shared with us. And Ashley, are you ready for another question?
Absolutely.
Perfect. It comes from Leo, and he's asking, what is the process of searching for a senior position? Is it different from searching for regular product management roles?
I wouldn't say that it's different. I would say you need to know your goal. And that the reason being is that senior PM roles, a lot like pant sizes, are different depending on where you're looking at. So if you think about it in terms of, it really depends on the company size. So what is senior at like an Amazon is not senior in another organization. That would likely be like a director or higher level role in a smaller company. So you need to sort of size the opportunity in accordance to the company and understand sort of how they do their leveling. But if the senior title is really important to you, or you really feel that you're there, your best option might be a smaller startup. So just know your goal, know what it is specifically that you're looking for from your next opportunity, and take it from there.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And Tamar has a question to ask you. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Let's bring it on. So Tamar is here with the following question. What are the best methods for searching for senior product management jobs? Okay, so what steps should one take? What is the journey? We're product managers. We're always looking for a map or a journey or something to follow, apparently. So what are your tips?
So I think I alluded to it before. I think job search is really, really hard. And the best way not to really go through this process is to not look for a job. I think it's best as product managers that we do our job well, but we also invest time in building ourselves, in networking, in in really building our own brand, in doing something extra, in mentoring, in just doing things that are around the organization and supporting yourself as well as your company outside. And then you'll be surprised how many times people will ask you, hey, we're looking for someone. Are you available? Or I know someone that is available. And I think that is an easier process than to go, through hundreds of other opportunities, or to go through, to come in the door as one of many others, which is very hard. The process today is very lengthy. And I think that, the higher you go in the organization, then you'll need to meet more people. So really, to do that work, while you don't need to look for a job, you have a job, build yourself, build your company, and then, it will come to you.
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but some people say that you have to start searching for a job like 100 or 300 days before you actually start searching for a job. Like, you're building your net worth, as you said, and mentor, and you show up your experience and your know-how, and things just come from there. It's not something that you start like you just wake up the morning one day and you start doing. I completely agree with you. So thank you very much for that. And now we are back with you, Gaurav. Are you ready for a question?
Yeah, bring it on.
This is good. Lucas is here to ask you, which are the best platforms for searching for senior positions? People here are very driven to get senior product management roles.
Yeah, so in terms of the platforms, I will say that there are some regular ones, like you have LinkedIn, you have Indeed, Twitter, you have, of course, other platforms, Angel Talent, Angel List, something like that. Those are all great platforms. But one thing I will really say is that, in my opinion, Twitter is one of the best. And why I'm saying that is because this is also helping you to build something what we call in product, to build an audience before you build the product, so that you have that community around you. Be curious. That is what I will add over here. Speak with people, speak with different, understand from them how people are working in different industries, in different segments of product management, because everyone comes with a different lot of experience and they can share their challenges and insights. People on Twitter, especially the great product people, they do share that they are hiring or their friends are hiring, in their network someone is hiring. So be close to them. I would say that it's more like, again, being a part of that community in Twitter. It won't fall the very next day, but it's a gradual process towards getting maybe a dream job. And like you said, I did not know about this fact, but yeah, if that is true, then I totally agree that build up a thing to get that, result in the end. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Gaurav, for your answer. And Jade has a question to ask you, Ashley. She's asking, what is the best way to approach my supervisors about being promoted to the position of senior product management? So now going back also to what you mentioned, one of the best ways to climb up the ladder is within the organization you already work at. So what is the right way to do it, Ashley?
Yeah, I love this question. I think it goes back to knowing your goal, right? If you know that you want to be promoted, don't wait to have the conversation until it's review time. You're going to be disappointed. Almost always by the time reviews are written and you're having the conversation with your manager, promotions have already been put in place for that quarter or that year, depending on how your organization works. So I would say have frequent, honest conversations about your goals with your manager. That is what your one-on-ones are for. If your one-on-ones are status updates, work with your manager on changing that. And make sure that you're asking for feedback on areas from colleagues that have come up in terms of, we really need to see you, clearly communicate the strategy more, and work with your manager to figure out, what does that mean? How will you know when you've done it successfully? And what sort of volume do they need to see to help you cross the threshold in terms of being ready for that promotion. I think getting promoted in-house is one of the best feelings in the world. And two, it's so rewarding because usually the people you're working with have helped you get there. And so when they're excited for you, it's because they know everything you put into it versus getting hired out somewhere else. So be honest, have frequent conversations, know what your goal is in terms of your next step in your career.
I completely agree with you. That was good. And I want to highlight one of the things you said. You said that it's easier, right, to be promoted once you already work in the organization. But I want to highlight an additional aspect. It's also easier to do the onboarding, right? Because you already know the company. It may be like a different department or maybe like a different headquarters sometimes. Right, it's not going to be the same team, the same people, not often, but you still know how you have some understanding of how the company, the organization works. You know some people, you know who you can ask for a favor or like a tip or something like that within an organization. So it's not only that it's going to be easier for you to get the job, it's also going to make your life a little bit easier after you'll get the offer. So this is why you got our audience to clap their hands to you. Thank you very much for that, Ashley. And us, Pablo has a question to ask you. Are you ready?
Let's go. Sounds hard.
It is. Get ready. We're here for a challenge. We're not scared of challenges. We're talking about senior product management roles here. What is usually involved in the hiring process? Okay. So hiring processes in product management include assignments, interviews, different steps, different kind of interviews. Our audience is trying to figure out, and Pablo in the audience, trying to figure out what are the steps that are involved in the hiring process. What should they have in mind before they even apply?
Yeah. So it really depends on the organization that you work for. The bigger it is, then more stakeholders would be involved, or at least I would expect them to be involved in the process of adding someone that is so important as a product or a senior product manager. But obviously, so I'll say from my experience is you'll usually have a very short conversation with a recruiter just to kind of check the water, that you also understand the position and that you are wanting to go ahead. Sometimes they'll check salary expectations, so be ready with that as well. And then once you understand that this is actually a role that you want to continue with and you say that you do, then I would expect you to meet the hiring manager. I don't like to put a lot of candidates in the flow before, just in case, someone misses on really good people. So hopefully you'll meet the hiring manager, and hopefully it's not the last time. So once you meet the hiring manager and maybe even a peer or someone from the team, I would expect the organization to actually call in other stakeholders, either someone from marketing or from the engineering team, someone that you'll be working with closely, because you need their blessing. And as a hiring manager, I would like to have their blessing for someone new so that they feel responsible for onboarding them properly. Some organizations will give you assignment. I'm extremely black and white about this. I've been told that I'm extremely strict about it. I don't like assignments that are taking the candidates out of their comfort zone. So, and I think as candidates, we all should come out and say, listen, I can show you the best of me by telling you what I did in my current company. Or I can tell you the best of me about, the things that I've launched, the things that I failed to launch, because you also learn from that. But to put a candidate under an assignment that is only relevant to the hiring company is just bad practice, because you will never have enough information to give good advice. You will never have the right data and experience. And that's not how product management is done. Product management is done once you have access to stakeholders, to data, to you understand the market. You can't just come up with an assignment or just know what feature you need to build or what thing you need to improve. So I think us, we're in this product management family here. We need to come up here and say, I don't do well in tests like that. And here's how you can test me and know me better. I love hearing from product managers things that they worked on, and I love to see their passion, and I love to see how excited they're about something. And I like also to hear their journey. And it's something that I can't see from an assignment. And I'm hoping that more hiring managers are not lazy. By giving some exams that are available on YouTube, and that people will actually bother learning the candidates and seeing if it's the right fit, especially now that we're hybrid. Really take the time to both, you need to learn the organization and your hiring manager and what you're joining, and also let them know you so that you're a good fit. It's harder without an office.
I love
Absolutely.
that so much, Oz. Can I just say that I generally don't agree to one-off presentations because I feel like I'm not being paid for my most valuable resource, which is my time. But I love presenting on past projects or things that I think are super relevant to the role that I'm hiring on, and it's pretty easy to build up that portfolio for yourself. So I'm aligned with you. We can change the industry standard.
Absolutely. And when we show some innovation ourselves as the hiring managers, and we come up with an assignment that is actually fun and different and showcasing that we just want to see how the candidate thinks. It's not about them knowing the industry. It's not about them bringing solutions to things that we didn't manage to solve, right? Things that we can actually use at the office tomorrow. Just about seeing them, just drilling and having fun with some hypotheses and numbers and problems. I think every candidate that finds themselves in this situation feel much better about the option of working in such an environment because they are not feel like they're being used, right? When you're asked to do an assignment that that the hiring manager can use tomorrow, either if they will use it or not, it's not a case. It's not what really matters here. If you just know that someone can use your precious time, your precious know-how without you being paid for that, this is not the right way to start a relationship of an employer and employee. That's just the wrong way to do that. So Ashley, thank you so much. Spot on. I see you, Gaurav. Like you are here with us. You're agreeing with everything that was mentioned. This is this is important because right now everyone wants to be a product manager. Everyone wants to climb up the ladder. In some ways, we have the power in our hands, right? Where we are interviewing people, and with great power comes great responsibility, and we should do it the right way.
Absolutely.
Thank
was
you.
just looking for a big plus sign, as in Slack we have to react. So I totally agree with what Oz and Ashley mentioned. I totally agree. This should stop.
Yeah, that was a very, very important one. Thank you very much. And we're staying with all of you. The next question comes from Martina, and it's a very interesting one because she is asking you to offer her with any tips to ease the lengthy and tedious hiring process. Okay, so as all of you mentioned, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take so many resources, right? Because sometimes you have to miss work if you already have, like if you have another position. It's instead of you going to have a drink with your friends, you may have to fill out a form or assignment or whatever. So how can we make this annoying, lengthy process to be a little bit easier? Who wants to start?
I can hop
I'll
in
go.
there. Oh,
Go ahead.
Ashley, I'm giving you the mic. You can
Thank
start.
you. I would say the first thing is one, know your goal, know what it is that you're looking for and what you want. It's really easy to start and see so many opportunities and just feel like you need to put yourself out there for all of them when really you'll probably get to an offer stage if you're like a really great qualified candidate and realize that it was more of an ego driven thing. Like, can I get that opportunity? Will I be offered an offer? Or versus this is something I really, really want to do. And I view my time is precious, it's finite. So I think sticking to your goal and also use your network. Most of my roles that I've gotten have been through my network. I get introduced to a hiring manager from someone I used to work with, and that is a much easier conversation because they have some sense of who I am from someone that I actually worked with and collaborated with. And it just makes the whole process a lot easier and a lot more conversational than rigid.
That's a perfect tip. Thank you very much, Ashley. And we have Louise commenting here that she definitely feels the pain, right? Balancing, searching for a senior product management role and parenting, for example, right? Because you have to find this time somehow. So we are here for you, Louise, and for everyone else in the audience to try and make this process a little bit easier for you. Ashley, this was your answer and that was fantastic, but we want to hear from us as well. So what do you have to share?
So I think that preparation is always the best way to just really ask the question, how long the process is, who am I going to speak with, how long it will take, how urgent this hire is, and really always check yourself as well. And I love the call out that Ashley said, just make sure that you want this. Don't continue in a process that you're not interested. You don't have time for this. Do something else. Build your brand. If you have extra time, build your brand. Don't stay in a process where you don't feel that you're going to work there, because processes today are very, very lengthy. In bigger organization, it takes time and things change. So really, two things is constantly be connected to yourself and hear if this is what you want. And the second one is just ask. And if a company doesn't sound like it knows what the process is, that's another red flag.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm so happy that you mentioned that. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Like if product managers don't know what it is that they're looking for, so who should know, right? Like we should know the goal on day one. So if they don't know how to do that, you may not want to work with their team. Just say. Thank you very much, us, for that. Gaurav, what is your tip? How to make the process a little bit easier?
Yeah, I will say almost the same on the lines of do your homework. I will say make sure that you know what you are applying for, what your goal is. Connect with people over LinkedIn. Get your network ready. Make sure that you know what you are going to apply for, or the people you are going to meet. And if you see that this is not for you, then get out of that loop as soon as possible rather than just staying in that loop just because you want a piece of paper saying that you have an offer to satisfy yourself, because at the end maybe it is going to waste the both parties' time, yours and the company. So it's better to align with what you want in the very first place. So spend good number of hours there to first make sure that you know what is this for me or not, and then only get into the thick of things. So that is what I will definitely say here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you see something that is off, right, trust your instincts. It's not always about data. It's also about
Absolutely.
instincts and knowing the field. So if something is off, you may have a good reason to be worried. So I absolutely love what you just shared with us, Gora. Thank you very much. And we're staying with you with a very important question that comes from Emma. I was actually surprised in the good sense when she asked that, because she asked, what happens afterward? Like, what do I expect after getting an offer, what is onboarding like in senior roles? Because I think that you can't really apply to have a senior product management role unless you know what is expected from you the day after, right? So tell us what is expected the day after.
Yeah, there are many things I will say. To start with, one of the thing would be to understand exactly what your product is. So I will say that taste your own medicine. Make sure that you understand what you're going to work on, what you are working on. In that sense, I will also say that don't, if there is a suite of products, don't just think that, okay, I'm responsible for one piece of it and that's what I'm going to just learn about, but learn the whole ecosystem. One thing I will definitely recommend is ask questions, not only to the product people. Be curious like a kid in the kindergarten, and make sure that you reach out to almost anyone and everyone. Because be like a kid in the zoo. Yeah, so explore everything. Make sure that you don't know anything and react like an outsider. Try to do that. The next thing I will say is definitely build trust, and that is not again just with product people, but again with every single individual in the company. Of course, it depends on how big the company is, so it won't be really possible, but to some extent, I will say that sit down with customer support or account managers, however the companies want to call that, because that is, in my opinion, a gold hub to understand what problems the product people product has. So that is something which is going to really help them getting onboarded. And then the next thing I will say is that sit down with your management manager and set your expectations. What are the expectations they have from you from this role? And you are not there to just spend 9 to 5 job. You are also there to grow. So set your personal goals that this is what I want to actually turn it into, I don't know, after 2 years or 3 years, this is what my personal goal is. So make that alignment somewhere in this whole process. I will say that maybe that the first 90 days are going to be something like how I see as onboarding. There are many other things which you can do, of course, like data understanding, analytics, and all, but those are more like technical for product. But these are the top 5 or 6 things I can think of, which will definitely take a lot of time. So it's not a very fast process, it's a slow and learning process, which will definitely take a lot of time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was very, very important that you shared that with our audience, Gaurav, because it also something that you can ask about on the interview, right? When you're late stages, just to get a better understanding. Because in some companies this is a longer process. In some companies that they will expect you, mostly in startups, they expect of you to be the senior in the senior position place like on day 1 or 2 max. So just by understanding what are the expectations, you can see if this is the right place for you and if it matches your goals, it matches your strengths, the things that you're actually passionate about doing. Because it's not about the title, guys, it's about finding the best place for you to build amazing products and journeys, and just provide customers and users with the best experience out there. This is what important. And now, guys, are you ready for a challenge?
Absolutely.
Yes. Perfect. Because I want to ask you to ask yourself a question. Okay, so we're introducing a new format. Okay, you can answer any question that was not asked by the audience, but in your opinion, the audience can learn a lot from the question to be asked. So, who wants to start and tell us what is the question that you really want to answer?
I can take the first stab at this.
Please do it.
I think a big question is, should I expect to work, more hours, longer hours in a more senior role? And my definitive answer is no. You need to develop boundaries, and you need to know what's actually important and what's truly urgent. And you need to know how to turn off. It's really, really important for your own mental and physical well-being that you're able to turn off at the end of your day. And to really only jump in when there's something truly urgent, something's really wrong with your product, and you need to help triage it. So I think that's a question that I want to answer. I know it's something a lot of product managers struggle with. I see debates about it all over the place in different PM groups, and I think to me the answer is you need to have really strong boundaries, and make sure that you're staying within your boundaries and taking care of yourself.
I love
Love
the
that.
question that you presented, the answer. Yeah, we're all very happy about it here. Thank you very much, Ashley. Gaurav, what do you have to share with us? A question and an
Yeah,
answer.
yeah. One question I will definitely say is that what are the roles and responsibilities when you are senior product manager transitioning from product manager? So I have I have heard this a lot of times that where is that boundary going to be? Because as a product manager, I was doing this. Now, as a senior product manager, what should I do? So we already discussed this, but I will just give this tip or answer saying that you have to know your boundaries. You have to also delegate few things. You have to now get yourself more involved in the strategy part and how you are going to position your product from now towards 2 or 3 or 4 years. And that is the role which you have to start playing and understanding. And if there are some other things, then start delegating it to maybe to product managers or maybe to other people. And that is something which I will say comes up with saying when to say no and how to say no to different requests which are coming in. So start learning that. That is going to be very helpful.
Thank you very much, Gaurav, for that. Us, last but not least.
So I'll put a shameless plug for my book, which is called Starting from
Wait for it.
Scratch.
Wait with it, because we're going to get there. We're going to get. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We're going to mention it twice.
So, but I will say that there's specific things that Ashley was mentioning, like talk to your manager so you don't miss the feedback loop. And so I will say that one of my someone on my team came to me and actually asked me, what would it take for me to be a director on your team? And I loved it so much that she actually put it on me. She didn't come and say, hey, I'm ready to be promoted. She wanted to hear objectively, what does that mean? And then to prepare for it. And I mentioned my book because in my book, I mentioned that the first thing you need to do when you start your career is to have a learning mindset. And I think that as product managers, we are always in that state of mind or need to be in that state of mind. And what can help you grow into your next position is to really start planning, just like you plan a product. Like, what is that new person? What do they do? What do they know? Who do they hang out with? What do they read? What is their day to day? What is their hobby as someone that is doing this as a senior person? Maybe they learn now something new or get involved in something else. So like, can you actually plan that new person and then have a learning mindset and work towards that new person that you just defined there? I think as product managers, all of us can have a simpler life because we know how to plan, we know how to work towards something, we know how to create, little chunks in order to move towards something. So I think that, just take all that capability and work for yourself.
Spot on and wise words. Thank you very much for that, Oz. And now it's time for questions from the audience. Okay. And we have a very important question presented to us. It comes from Felicia, okay, from Kenya. And she's asking, and I'm sorry, it's Grace asking. I'm sorry, my bad. Grace is asking, as a woman and a product manager, okay, are there challenges that you face when you climb up the ladder? This is a very important one. I actually, it's such a meaningful question that I can need some time to think about that. But this is why I have you guys here with me. Okay, so who wants to answer this important question by Grace?
So I'll start and say that product management is a hard job. Bad days, you need to remember this, and on good days, you need to remember this. It's the hardest job, but it's probably the best one. I know I'm not objective. I have done other jobs, but I always came back to product management. And so I think that, you just need to know that it's a hard job. As a woman in product or in other roles, there aren't many of us as we climb up the ladder. So I think the thing you need to know is to know it and not accept it. Hire women, grow women, mentor women, so that it changes. Because for us, it's kind of like it is what it is right now, but we can make a change for the next generation, for our children, and for the people we care about. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and we are here to shape the next generation of product management, right? This is what we're doing. Product League, this is why you're part of Product League, mentoring others, either if you're mentoring a woman or you're mentoring, a man, just by shaping the way we think about these roles and about the people involved in it. We're shaping it in a way that this question, hopefully, won't be relevant.
Yeah. And I will say, I have a lot of ex-colleagues of mine that now ask me to mentor their daughters. So I think that that's amazing. I think that, more dads are more open to speaking or thinking about their girl's career and their path. And so I think, all of us can do a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. And even just being aware of that, this is the first step. Yeah, absolutely. Gaurav, maybe you have something to share from your perspective.
Not really specifically on this one. I cannot really say on this part. But what I have seen is that, yes, I do agree with us that I have seen personally that many women are growing up the ladder in product. There are many, I would say, wonderful product leaders I do personally follow. That is the only thing I can say. Melissa, for example, and then there is Teresa. And these are the two names which I can just think of. And then, of course, Oz and Ashley and Moria, who are the great product leaders, I will also say. So, yeah, that is what I can say is the beautiful part.
Yeah, that was very valuable. Thank you very much. And indeed, these are all, you girls, you women included, fantastic product leaders. And Ashley, what do you have to share?
I think women in today's day and age have this struggle to sort of try to have it all. And the reality is you can't have it all at once. And so I think you just have to pick and choose what's really important to you. So I'll go back to what I said earlier, which is like have firm boundaries and firm expectations around, what you want. I've worked for product leaders. One of them, Sheeran, he would every day leave by a certain time so that he could have dinner with his children, and he'd be available later in the afternoon or later in the evening once his kids went to bed. But that was really important to him. And I had other product leaders like Tara Goldman, who's currently at Electric. She was also very diligent about setting a boundary around, she needs this time to be with her family and moving forward. So I'd say I don't think it's particular to women. I think product is hard, like Oz said. And the further up you go, just pull more people with you. That's our responsibility to each other. If you've been helped up, help someone else up in return.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now another question. It comes from Guy, and he's asking, are there any books you recommend to help you be ready for a senior PM role? This is why I was telling you to wait. Go ahead and mention your book again.
Yeah, no, I can mention my book, which is not out yet, but you can subscribe to know more about it. I can stop speaking about this on my LinkedIn, so you'll never miss it. But I will say there are many great books. I think creating someone that is more rounded, so not necessarily product books, although there are several great ones that I always recommend. Hooked, always. If you haven't read Hooked by Nerial, it's like the #1 book I always recommend reading.
And we had 2 sessions with Near here on Product League, so you can
amazing.
search for the video on our YouTube channel as well. Yeah.
And Start With Why, obviously. We're talking about new roles, so the first 90 days is really important and super enlightening, I think, as you start a new job. Not enough.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Ashley.
I mean, Hooked is fantastic, inspired. I'm in the process of reading Empowered, and also I'll plug our CEO's book that just came out, Decide and Conquer. I'm plugging it because I have not been able to put it down. I read it every day at lunch, and then I get really annoyed when my little timer goes off telling me I've got to get back on online on Slack to answer some questions for the team. So I think leadership books are some of the best that you can read. As product managers, their job is to influence. And something I loved when I first became a manager was The Making of the Manager by Julie. I can't remember her last name, but that was a great book. I referenced it all the time when I was in my first management position, and it was just really helpful in breaking down how to build those skills that you need as a first-time manager.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Gaurav?
Yeah, I actually also wanted to say the same book, The Making of a Manager from Julie Joe, if I remember the name correct. That's wonderful book for being a manager. There are others I will definitely add to the books which Oz and Ashley already mentioned. I personally like Rework from Jason, the founder of 27 Signals. It's a great read in my opinion. And then I will say Atomic Habits from Jason, if I'm remembering the name correct. James Clear. These 2 books are not 100% related to product, but I will say that they have a lot of lessons which can help you to become a better product manager, senior product manager, any manager at any role. And then the another one I will say is going to be Hooked. That one is not to be missed. I will definitely say. Just wanted to say another plus one. So those are definitely the top ones.
I plus one to all of the great books that you guys mentioned. I think that was a valuable and very informative list. Thank you very much. I had the best time. What about you?
When are we doing this again?
That's the way to look it up. Exactly right. From New York City, this was Ashley the Gialdenni, Senior Product Manager at Meetup.com and Product League Mentor. From Berlin, Germany, Gaurav Jindal, Head of Product at Fleet and Product League Mentor. And from the Big Apple as well, Osnat Benari, Product and Strategy at Dragons Can Fly and Product League Mentor. I am Moria Cassis. This is Product League. This is amazing mentors. This is Product League. Thank you so much, everyone in the audience, for watching us, for submitting the questions. We can't wait to support you on becoming the best product manager you can be. Don't forget to join us for our next Ask Me Anything session. And until then, go lick it up. Bye-bye, everyone.